Well, hello and welcome to episode 275 of Drink the Movies. I'm Brian here, as always, with Michaela. And Michaela, what do you get when you go to the bank vault of the Bellagio, the MGM Grand, and Caesar's Palace? You get a group of 11 good-looking dudes trying to rob you. That's what you get. Happy 25th birthday, Ocean's 11.
Happy 25th birthday, Ocean's 11. I cannot believe that this film is 25 years old, first of all.
I can. I
Uh,
feel every bit of 25 years older than I was when I saw Ocean's 11.
no, I mean, but it's so, like, it is the consummate heist film, I feel like. I'm so excited to talk
Yeah.
about it because it is one of my favorite movies of all time. Um, I almost was like, do I even need to see it? Because I just watched it maybe like 3 weeks ago. And I was
Yeah.
like, do I need to see it again for this podcast? Yes, I do. And yes, I did. And because it is awesome. Ocean's 11, Brian. I mean, what do you get
Ocean's 11.
when you combine three casinos? You get real freaking rich, is what you get. Um, yeah,
That's right. Yeah,
yeah.
eight digits apiece. Split 11 ways. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But maybe you get your true love. Is that more important than money? I don't know. Time will tell. What is more important than money is our cocktail because it is a good one today. So let's do this, Michaela. Let's grab some bourbon. Let's grab some Amaro Nonino. More on that here in a second. And we'll be right back to chat about this week's drink.
So, Brian, the one of my favorite parts of this whole movie, and we're gonna get to the movie in a minute, but one of my favorite parts is when they're like crafting the crew, right?
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
I felt like I was doing a little bit of that when I was trying to figure out this cocktail because I wanted something that was like elegant. I wanted something that was really slick because I think that this film is almost perfect in some of its execution of these scenes, and the dialogue is super slick. I wanted something that was a little bit a little off the beaten path, something that was very mature,
Mm-hmm.
something that would just really just make you feel like the banter between Daniel Ocean and whatever Brad Pitt's character's name is, because I never figured it out and I've watched it a million times.
Well,
But
now his
they
name is
they're
Rusty Ryan, which is a terrible name
Rusty
on a side
Ryan.
note.
Oh, okay. uh, anyway, I wanted something that would be representative of their like banter back and forth because it is just so amazing. You think that they were actually best friends in real life, and maybe they are, I don't know. But what I found was what I put together ended up being pretty good. And I didn't know what to call it. So I called it We Got a Grease Man. Doesn't sound really great, but I'm telling you, if you have the ingredients for to make this cocktail, you should do it because I impressed myself, I think,
You
with this
you
one.
should, yeah. This cocktail is not greasy. We got our grease
It is
man. Yeah,
not.
not maybe the most appealing cocktail name. I was thinking when we were picked to do this, I was trying to remember because I don't watch this every 3 weeks like you do. I was like, do they drink anything specifically in the movie? Because I know that there is some drinking. Obviously, they're in Vegas, so there is drinking, and it seems like a couple of time both Brad Pitt and George Clooney's characters have some drinks, and they look either to be just like some like bourbon neat or on the rocks or maybe an old fashioned. So this definitely kind of fits the bill there without anything specifically coming from the movie. So let's go ahead and run through the ingredients here. I like to do this into like a shaker tin. With a little bit of ice that I'm going to give a quick stir and then strain it into a rocks glass with a big ice cube. Is how I'm going to put mine together. So into that goes 2 ounces of bourbon, a half an ounce of Amaro Nonino. Amaro Nonino is a ingredient we've used a couple of times here on the podcast. I don't know that we've ever really talked about it too much, but it's basically like a barrel aged grappa that also has some botanical and like herbal things added to it. Gentian, rhubarb, saffron, sweet bitter, and orange. So it's kind of softer. It's not like super like punchy in the face, medicinal like a lot of the other like Amaros, aperitif kind of things are. So this one's nice and soft, subtle, brings those characters, and then you have the barrel age there on top of it to kind of round it out a little bit. So you're going to need a half an ounce of that, a quarter of an ounce of Luxardo maraschino liqueur, and then 2 dashes of orange bitters. And if you have it, 1 dash of black walnuts bitters. If you don't have the black walnut, go ahead and just use regular aromatic bitter, 1 dash of that to kind of round it out. Go ahead and give that a quick stir with the ice and then strain it into your rocks glass over a big ice cube. Sip and enjoy. If you're going to garnish this, I would go with maybe like an orange peel. I didn't want anything else like clouding my like nostrils as I was drinking this. I just wanted kind of the Amaro to shine through, so I didn't garnish it with anything actually. But you could do that. You could do like a nice like Amarino cherry, something like that, if you wanted to do that. So, Michaela, what did you think of this? We're I think 2 years removed now from your year of bourbon, but what do you think about this one?
I like this a lot. I remember back in the day when we were talking about Luxardo maraschino liqueur, and I thought it was cherry liqueur. I don't. It's not. Um, so um, so I feel like that was more than 2 years ago, but I feel like my palate around bourbon and these kind of bourbon drinks has really changed.
Mhm.
But I truly enjoyed this. I thought that it was very layered. I really loved the hint of orange in the orange bitters. The black walnut, it just kind of gives it a little bit of an unctuousness and like I wouldn't even say a nutty aftertaste because it's not, it's one dash. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it just offers just a little bit um,
Mhm.
to round kind of things out and make it really kind of balanced. For this bourbon, we talk about this a lot. This is you, I wouldn't do like a really high proof, like super special reserve bourbon for this because you're adding it to a bunch of stuff and it would kind of get muddled. And you also don't want it to knock your head off from a ABV perspective. So,
Yeah.
but I was really impressed with this. I really liked it.
I always think of bourbon when I'm doing it in a cocktail like this as something that I would drink on its own, but not something that is not something that I would only drink on its own, if that makes any
Right.
sense. So there you go. So that is the we got our grease man, more appealing name pending. We'll see. So go ahead and mix one of those up and strap in because we have 11 characters to talk about. So we'll see how that goes. So let's do this. Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back to chat about this week's film, Ocean's 11.
Spoiler warning for Ocean's 11, the one released in 2001. It's 25 years old today. Happy birthday, Ocean's 11. But we're going to talk about all the things. And this actually has some really fun twists and turns and spoilers. So you've been warned. We're going to talk about it. I really recommend that you press pause on this sucker. You go get yourself a Grease Man cocktail that should be named something better. You should drink it, watch Ocean's 11, and then come back and help us chat about the best, I'm just going to say it, the arguably the best heist movie of all time.
Wow, dang. Those are bold words. We'll see if that's true here in just a second. This was, as Michaela said, released in 2001. Happy 25th birthday, Ocean's 11. This was directed by Steven Soderbergh, and it stars George Clooney as the just out of jail thief that wants to rob a casino, Danny Ocean. Of course, there's a lot of big names in this. And I almost always forget that one of them is in this, Matt Damon. By the time he comes into the movie, I'm always like, oh, yeah, you're also in this movie because everyone is in this movie. And I think that's how we're going to go ahead and kind of break this one down because it is a crime story. It is like this caper kind of a thing. It would be really hard to talk about like going through the movie. So I think we're going to kind of break it down that way. Let's talk about Steven Soderbergh though, just a little bit here because the year before that, writes and directs both Aaron Brockovich and Traffic. So there you go in the year 2000, and then Ocean's 11 in 2001. So that was a lot of good directing for Steven
Yeah.
Soderbergh here in
Yeah.
just a short time. And yeah, I mean, this movie is going to go kind of the way that you might expect, knowing that there are now like four. Going on five, I think there's a new one like in like pre-production or production, New
Mm.
Oceans 13 or something like that. So, yeah. So here we go. So we've got George Clooney. He is Danny Ocean. He is just getting out of jail. Right. We start the film. He's at like his parole board hearing, and he's like, "Yep, I'm a change man." Turns out you're not a change man at all because the whole time you've been in the clink, you have been figuring out your next goal. It's to rob this casino that's owned by this guy that you don't like because he may or may not be dating your ex-wife. But more on that in here in just a minute. So the first character we're going to be introduced to actually is Rusty, right? I think Rusty is the first character we get introduced
Rusty
to.
Ryan.
Rusty Ryan,
No,
played by, is it? Nope,
it's
it's
not. It's
not. I
Ruben.
can remember his.
It's not
Uh,
Ruben. His name is
it's
actually
not Ruben.
Frank Catton, but
It's
he's like,
Frank.
my name's
His
Ramon.
my name is Ramon, played by the late Bernie Mac. There, yeah. So let's. So despite the fact that I just said the wrong thing, we're going to go ahead and start with Rusty Ryan, Brad Pitt's character, because he is the second hand here in this instance. And yeah, I mean, he does run into Bernie Mac's Frank at the casino, and he's going to, kind of bring him into the fold here too. But let's talk about Brad Pitt's Rusty Ryan here first, and then we'll carry on with the rest of the 11.
Well, Rusty Ryan eats a lot of food. That's the first thing we should know about him is, I don't know, 80% of the scenes that he's in, he's eating something. I don't know how that's possible. Brad Pitt, how did you do
It's so they
that
could
and still maintain
It's
your
because they
in,
wanted to show off his like sleeve tattoo thing that he had.
yeah, oh, it was amazing. But Rusty Ryan, like he's also kind of this I don't know, nefarious character. He's really likable. You can tell him and Danny have been friends for a really long time. But Rusty, he's like living his worst life. He's in a basement basically of a club where a bunch of actors are learning how to play poker, and he's
Hmm.
teaching them,
Hmm.
and it's awful. They don't know what they're doing. Joshua Jackson looks amazing as a person who doesn't know what they're doing. I don't believe it for a second. It's so funny because they Rusty and Daniel Ocean kind of bring out they play off each other, and like they get all the actors to put in a lot more money. And so they're just right back to it. And Danny's got a job. I love the scene where he's talking about this job. They're in some like little noodle house, and Rusty like it takes a sip of coffee as he explains that they're gonna kick off three casinos, and he's like, absolutely not. What are you doing? But then he's totally in. And so they start to lay out the plan, right? They go up somehow. Daniel has managed to bribe a dude who's got all the floor plans for the MGM and the Bellagio and Caesar's Palace. I don't know how that's possible, but they're looking at it and they're like, okay, we're going to need some people. We're going to need, and they start to list them out, right? And I don't even know what these mean, but they're like, we need an Ella Fitzgerald, and we need a grease man, and we need a dingbat, and we need a jackhammer. And they all end up being something. And then they go through, like, the first half of this film is them going through and like finding these characters in this underworld of like people who steal shit. It's amazing.
That's that's true. Yeah, the first half is getting this crew together, and yeah, Brad Pitt, his character needs to eat the whole time because he's still about 20 pounds underweight from Fight Club, I think. So there you go. So yeah, the
Right.
first character we meet is, as you pointed out there, Frank, played by Bernie Mac. He's working at this Atlantic City casino, and they talk, and tells him to put in for transfer out to Las Vegas. So he's going to be kind of the point person, I guess, at the Bellagio, right? Going to get a job there dealing cards, so he can,
Mm.
keep an eye on things, get in there, and he's going to come back into the fold a little bit later. I like then because he does go to California to pick up Rusty's character there, who's teaching these Hollywood kids how to play cards. I like the dialogue here; it's pretty sharp. I always felt like and maybe some people do know who all of these people are, but I'm like, I feel like all five of these are people that I'm supposed to know or expected to know, like from like young up and coming Hollywood. But I only ever knew Topher Grace and Joshua Jackson. We've also got Shane West, Barry Watson, and Holly Marie Combs. I was like, who are these other people? Because I only know those two. But yeah, they're bad at cards, and we're on our way. The next thing you have to do when you're going to be robbing three casinos at once, three casinos at one time, is to get some money. That is what you want to do. So you're going to go to your friend Ruben Tishkoff, who's played by Elliot Gould, who's amazing. He's my favorite character in the movie, probably. He is a former casino owner who really wants to get one up on his rival casino owner, who's going to be blowing up his old casino, which is a bad news. So what do we think about Ruben here? I like they're having like this lunch. He's like hammering the salad. It's like the only time Rusty's like, I'm out on salads. I want like a bowl of like cheddar fries. That's what I want.
Right. No, this scene is amazing. Because he has a salad that I mean, it could feed an entire zoo of animals. This salad is freaking huge. But it looks delicious because again, the decisions that are made from an acting perspective in this film are really impressive. The way he is talking about how the casinos work and how three people have really, some people have really gotten close to trying to knock over a casino and it's never been
Mhm.
done, but it's been tried. And the way they film these kind of like
Yeah, it's like
snippets
this little
of
flashback montage thing. Yeah.
right, and it's so great from like the 70s and then the 80s. It's so good. But Robert Gould is truly amazing in this. It's my opinion, it's his best role that he's ever done. I love it. And he makes it sound like Terry Benedict is like the godfather of evil, like Las Vegas casino, like I don't like the worst guy because he's like if you better know what you're doing if you're actually going to do this,
Mhm.
because he better never find out your name, he better not know who you are, he better never know you existed because he will find you and he'll kill you and then he'll go to work on you. And but that's enough to get him hooked because he is blowing up his building, which is not nice. Terry
It's not.
Benedict should not have done that. That's not nice.
I mean,
He
that's
had
how real
three. Did he need another one?
that's how
Really?
real estate goes. Or I don't know. Do you not see how our current world works? Of course, he needed another one. Needed to help no one along the way. What else do we have here? We have our drivers here, the Malloy brothers, played by Casey Affleck and Scott Conn. They're amazing. They're funny. They have this kind of like repartee about themselves. They have kind of this banter that they go back and forth. I say that the Malloy brothers get the real short end of the stick here because not only are they tasked with being like the drivers for this thing, which turns out they're just kind of driving this little remote controlled car, which they foreshadow very beautifully, kind of in the first scene there, where one of the brothers is driving a monster truck and the other one is driving the little RC monster truck, and it gets driven over. And the way Scott Conn like laughs like in that like maniacally has always been super funny to me. But they have to do like literally every other job. Everyone else is like hanging out, eating giant salads at Rubens, and they're like, okay, you guys have to go and do this and deliver this and be here and do this. Put yourselves on the line, left, right, and center. They're the only people doing this thing. They should get a bigger cut.
They should. They should probably get a bigger cut. But they're so perfect at being distracting, which is half the battle, right? They go in and they're trying to learn all the exits and entrances for all these casinos. They're trying to get back into the cages room so that they can get down into the vaults. And they do such a great job of hating each other and just like riffing on each other. It's comedic genius. It's so great. And then we also have one of my favorites is Livingston Dell, played by Eddie Jameson. He is this very nervous electronic surveillance expert guy. I love how we're introduced to him in a like he's like working with the FBI or something, and it's so obvious the people that are the FBI agents that he's trying to like surveil, and yet he's in this van and he's like, don't touch anything. Please leave it alone. I'm gonna take a gun and wave it around. Like he's very nervous. And it's kind of a running joke between Ocean and Rusty because they're like, how's his nerves? And they're like, not so bad that you notice. But he like has to like go and do a couple of like splicing of I don't know, chords in
Yeah.
the back rooms to do something with all of the
He
surveillance
he puts
videos of
he puts
everything.
one like potato chip clip on a Cat 5 cable in the Bellagio, and it allows him to do everything in the world.
Everything that he
Seems a
needs
little
to do.
unlikely. That's the big plow hole for me right here. He can hack into all those things. Good job, Livingston. You're like an electronics genius in the year 2001. I like that. But he does. He like goes in. He like sneaks into the thing. He puts a little thing on there so he can get access to it. However, that works. I'm not pretending to understand that at all. But then like the security guys like yelling at him, and he just starts running away. I'm like, nope, gig's up. You're done right there. By
Yeah.
the way, so that's
Yeah.
not great. That's not great. But Livingston is there. He's going to do all that. He hacks into the cameras. He like feeds and like fake like video to the cameras. He intercepts phone calls. Man can do it all. We have our explosives expert Basher Tar, played by Don Cheadle, who is, despite the fact born in Kansas City, Missouri, is allegedly some sort of Cockney Londoner here in this movie. You can decide for yourself if that is good or not. It is not. Don Cheadle is there. He needs to do some exploding, right? Not even very good. He gets like arrested, like at the job he's doing before, like Rusty Ryan goes to like pick him up and like sneak him out of there. Don't get people that get busted. That's your first guess. But he's there to do explosives. But unfortunately, that gets turned on his head, and he ends up having to use a pinch. Michaela, what'll do in a pinch is a pinch
Uh, It's a pinch, which basically they
because
have
you're
to
in
like
Barney.
Barney, rubble, trouble. Like nobody, look, okay. So I do agree with you there. Nobody knows what any half of what he was saying. But I will say that he got arrested and he was like, "You tossers, you had one job. You had one." So it wasn't him that screwed up that got arrested. It was the team he was working with.
A team
Number
is
one,
only
number
as
two.
good as its weakest link.
I guess well, that's true. And I will say we'll talk about the weakest link of this roundhouse of people in a minute, but they have to go to another place and rob it in order to get the thing that makes the pinch that takes out all of the electronics of all time, like 4 or 5 minutes or something. That part gets a little, you need to know that because this is a moment where we run into one of our next characters, which is Linus Caldwell, right? Played by Matt
Mm-hmm.
Damon. He
Mm-hmm.
coming out, he had just been Goodwill Hunting. He's like this amazing pickpocket, and I love how they bury this kind of in the dialogue. But he apparently um, is the son of a very famous person who we never see.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody knows this guy's dad, and he's not trading on his name, so he has a different name. But he's like, "Oh, you're this guy's kid." I love how Elliot Gould's character Ruben is like, "Oh, you like Las Vegas? Great. You're this guy's kid, right? Get in the house. You're absolutely doing this job. There's no question. Get in there." Um, but he's very young, and he's like really wanting to do more. And that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of a dynamic between him and Daniel Ocean. And we see it come to a head when they're trying to steal this pinch machine explosive thing because it ends up really biting them in the butt. He screws up. They end up like slamming the van door on poor Yen's hand, the amazing Yen, which is another one that is so cool. I'm gonna screw this guy's name up. Keen Xiaobo. He is a contortionist guy, and he's like 3 feet tall, and he can fit himself into like a paper bag. It's amazing.
He fits
But he
a,
hurts his
he fits
hand,
himself.
so
He fits himself into a casino, chip money cart, and goes in there. He has 30 minutes of oxygen in there. Yeah, the amazing Yen. We pick him up at the circus. That's good. We pick up Linus in Chicago. There as the pickpocket in Chicago.
mm,
There on the L train. So
mm.
that's good. That's good. I go to recruit him. Yeah, the amazing Yen is pretty awesome because I always liked he just like jumps up onto this thing and just like slides down into it like conforms to like his body. It doesn't even make sense how he can be that flexible. So he does that, and I like everyone's like betting on whether he's going to like make this jump because he has to do like this backflip instead of just jumping straight. I don't know if that's better or worse, but I can't pretend to do that, so I don't know for sure whether he's going to short it or not. Ends up he does not short it because a little bit long, but more on that here in a second. Then we also have our con man, the elderly Saul Bloom, who's played by Carl Reiner here, who's going to be the stand-in for the money. That's how we're going to get kind of the explosive device into the safe there down underneath
Mm.
of the street of Las Vegas. So that is our team. They are assembled, and everyone has kind of a job to do. Like I said, the Malloys have like the most jobs to do. Everyone else is just kind of back, like hanging out, building like this fake version of the the safe, all that
Mm.
stuff. I like they do foreshadow it a little bit, and they're like, "What are we building like the replica of the safe for practice?" And I think Danny Ocean's like, "Well, yeah, that and other stuff or something along those lines." So it kind of foreshadows how the end of the movie is going to go. So that's the team, and they're going up against Andy Garcia, who's playing Tony Benedict. He's the one who owns these casinos. Turns out he's not that good of a dude, but maybe he is good for Tess Ocean. Ocean. Might remember that name right there. Played by Julia Roberts, who is dating this knucklehead and the very near ex-wife of that other knucklehead, Danny Ocean.
Yeah. Uh, I find this middle part where we've got the team associate like assembled, and then we're trying to construct everything and put everything together. I find this to be kind of the most tedious part of the movie because
Mhm.
we start to see some of the story arcs kind of fall into place. Um, it is not cool to bring a whole group of people here under false pretenses. And so Rusty and Ocean get into it because Rusty's like, tell me this
Under
isn't
false
about screwing the
pretenses
guy that's screwing your wife. Like,
to
tell you
to
know,
do something that's going to like cost you your life because this is probably not going to work.
it's probably, well, that's who. Uh, but it's interesting because Daniel Ocean is not supposed to. He was in New Jersey. That I believe that is where he was in jail the first time.
Yeah,
I want to say. So
yeah, New York, New
he's
Jersey,
broken a
something like that,
million
right?
laws. Like he calls his parole officer and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to gamble. I'm not going to drink, and I'm definitely not going to leave the state." Turns out he was lying and he did all of that. And that's fine. But he goes and he tries to convince Tess to not be with Terry Benedict in this scene, which is interesting to me because Tess Ocean, she's like, what are you doing? Are you pulling another job? What's going on? You're a liar. You're a thief. Um, and Daniel Ocean is like, look, it doesn't matter if you don't want to be with me, fine, but this guy's really bad news, and you shouldn't be with him. And I think it kind of muddles it a little bit for me because it's it's one thing to be a heist movie, and it's another thing to be like, I'm gonna heist this $150 million thing, but then I'm also gonna try and get my ex-wife back by pointing out that this guy's not a good dude.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I always thought that was a little odd because I was like, you also are not a good dude because you just got out of jail for robbing places. So So yeah, it never like hit up on the fact that he was like really into Tess. He just really didn't want this other guy to have her. I think it's kind of where that goes. So
hmm.
yeah, so you have the crux of this thing, and of course, Rusty sees her like walking down the stairs, like him and Linus. Linus is like been casing Terry Benedict, and he knows every day that this woman comes down. He doesn't know who this woman is. Of course, Rusty knows that it's Tess, right? It's Danny Ocean's or soon to be ex-wife, or everyone assumes is the ex-wife because they'd filed for divorce, but apparently that never got signed or something along those lines. Or maybe she'd signed it and he was supposed to have gotten it on his last day of jail. I don't really know. They don't really get into it. It's not really that important. So Tess is there, and when Danny Ocean shows up, when George Clooney shows up at your door, you say, I don't know, Andy Garcia, you're nice. You won an Oscar. George Clooney, you haven't won any Oscars, I don't think, as of 2001 anyways. So maybe Andy Garcia is the ticket here, but you are George Clooney on the other hand. So there is that. So the plan is in motion, right? Normally, I guess a casino, this could be totally fabricated. I don't know. Steven Soderbergh might have just made this up, but apparently in the safe on a regular day, they have like $60 million. On a weekend, they have like $80 million. But then if there's a fight, they have $120 million, right? So that's the day. It's going to be the day of the fight, and that's the day everyone is going to go places. People get ready to go. You have some challenges though. Let's run through this here real quick. So basically, you have to get into the casino. You have to get through like this security door, through like the cages where they keep all like the chips and stuff like that. Then you have to get to this elevator, and then you have to go down the elevator. And then there's armed guards outside of the safe, and then you have to like get into the safe. And then the safe has like there's like laser grids in the elevator shaft, so you can't like even like go down the elevator. You can't go into the safe because it's got like pressure like on the floor. It's got like motion detection, all this stuff. It's something you can't do. And then I believe it's Saul has the good point. He's like, so you want to do all these things that we can't do, and then how are you going to get out? We just walk out. Says Danny Ocean, very confidently. Probably because he is not going to be the one walking out. Maybe he's he's more on board with having to do that. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Um, when we're watching the beginning of this, and if this is the first time as an audience member you're seeing it, you think that they're creating this vault because they're going to practice. At least that's what I was thinking, is that, they need to know exactly what the dimensions are because, Yen has
You know,
to do
he
the
has to figure out how
backflip
to
and
get
stuff.
there, like without touching the
Um,
ground. Yeah,
without touching the ground. He has to figure all that out. They had to figure out where their explosive device is going to be put and how much of the explosive device needs to be in it. Um, that sort of thing. And so when they put the whole plan in motion, it starts to go pretty well. But you as an audience member are still kind of unsure how this is going to work. So you
hmm
have Saul, who played by Carl Reiner, who is Lehman Zerga, and he is asking Terry Benedict to hold these big freaking jewel emerald looking things in the vault. And Terry Benedict says sure after saying no. I don't know why he changes his mind, but then he's like, it's going to be in the vaults, and that's the best I can give you. That's the best offer. I don't know why he would do that, but he did it. And then we got the the amazing Yen is like he's got 30 minutes of oxygen because he's in one of those cages. And of course the brothers start fighting and somebody else gets to take the cage in, and so they are able to circumvent almost all of the security. Almost all of the
Hmm.
security. But Terry Benedict, he sees that Daniel Ocean is there. He walks in on him like trying to, mac on his now girlfriend, his, Daniel's ex-wife. And he's not impressed because he knows he's up to something. So he like grabs this guy he's called Bruiser. He's Scott L. Schwartz, who is amazing in this role. And he like takes Daniel into a back room and is going to beat the crap out of him for like the rest of the night while they go watch this fight happen. Um, uh, yeah. And so, yeah, Ocean isn't even there for most of this stuff. Like
He's
he's like, y'all have a great time. I'm just going to be in this room, getting pretend beat up because Bruiser actually is not working for Terry. He's working for Daniel. And so he lets him out. So Daniel kind of goes back on the back behind the scenes and kind of goes behind Linus as Linus gets the codes to get into more things that they need. And
yeah.
yeah.
So really, it should be Ocean's 12, and I guess we get that later because he should have also gotten a cut. Some Bruiser should have for sure. Um, we're not going to go through the way that this heist happens because it's not really like super convoluted. Like it's easy enough to follow, but it's going to be very hard to describe. But I do like the way that the movie presents it because it more or less created the way that every like heist film was going to present itself going forward. Because part of it is seen in like a planning phase, which bleeds into like the actual like reality of it, and then you get like a little bit of flashback because there's some deception that happens then on the part of uh the casino where they had filmed, part of this and this recreation of this vault, and had pretty good carpentry skills. These 11 guys who presumably don't really know how to pick up a hammer is my guess, but they were able to recreate the vault, close enough to get one over on them. And what happens then? Of course, Terry Benedict knows that his casino is being robbed. They call the police, which sends in the SWAT team, but that call gets intercepted, and the SWAT team is Danny's Ocean's 11 team right there, Daniel Ocean's team. They're playing the SWAT officers who just go in and just carry the money out. So there you go. Easy peasy, done and dusted. And then, of course, you get like the crux of this. Why was Daniel Ocean wanting to rob this anyway? Well, a double-digit $1 million is certainly nice, but really he did all of this and put all these people on the line because he wanted, at the very end of the day, to get Terry Benedict on the phone saying that he would rather have this money back than to have Tess.
Yeah. Uh,
And I mean, Julia
yeah.
Roberts is great, but that is $120 million is a lot of dollars.
It's a lot of dollars. It's interesting actually because um Daniel doesn't get any of it, right? Like at the end of it, because Terry is pissed. He knows that Daniel had something to do with it. And so now Daniel is definitely on the hit list. He's definitely going to be, I don't know, chopped up into a million pieces in jail. But
Yeah, I was
Terry
going to say
calls the police.
he goes back into jail, which makes
Right.
sense. Yeah, if Terry Benedict is really that bad, then he's just going to have someone whack him in jail when he's there for violating his parole. On a side note, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that part I don't quite believe either. But he says, he's going back to jail. So everybody else kind of gets to go and have this round robin, like in front of the Bellagio, like fountains, and like think about the fact that they're bazillionaires now. But
mhm.
Daniel, he's getting pushed into a cop car, and Tess joins him and is like, I didn't know what I was doing. You make me laugh, and I love you, you bank robber.
You bank
Yeah.
robber.
Uh, yeah. And so she's there, like when he does leave. And I think it's really interesting and funny that he leaves. Every time he leaves jail, he's wearing a tuxedo. Like
Mm, mm,
every
mm.
time. But he gets out of jail this last time. I don't know what it's for. I guess it's for just violating your parole because they can't prove that he actually uh did anything. So he gets out.
Yeah, Terry
She's
Benedict says
there.
that to him. when he's like being released from the room where Bruiser had him.
Oh,
He
yeah,
tells those
yeah.
guys to call his parole officer because he's sure that he violated his parole. So
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So, so they get in this car. Tess is there. They're like, we need to get Rusty a girlfriend. Like he had problems getting a girlfriend on his own. And then they start driving away, but they're being followed. And
they
uh,
are.
yeah, and you don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, but then Ocean 12 happens, and you're kind of like, well, man, okay. Uh, but it's kind of a neat ending to this film because you're on such a high, and then you're like, oh, but it ain't over because it's never over
Hmm.
because you mess with
Yeah,
Terry Benedict and you
you're
you you
going to be on
won.
the run for going to be on the run forever. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in a lot of ways. I mean, it did foreshadow that there would be more of these, but I don't think that was probably ever the plan. I think that's
Mm.
just if you watch movies before like the age of like Marvel films where everything had to set up the next thing, like that was just kind of how movies were because your story is always like going, right? So I don't think it necessarily did, but then Ocean's 11 comes out and it makes like I don't know like $400 million or something like that. So of course it's going to get all of the sequels. There are Ocean's 12 in 2004, Ocean's 13 in 2007, and then there was like the Ocean's 8 which I think uh yeah, they came out with Kate Blanchett and Helena Bonham
Hmm.
Carter, Anne Hathaway,
Right.
Sarah Paulson. Um, so yeah, so that's it. I said this is a very good movie. Steven Soderbergh is great. He's coming off of these two monumental films that he had just made the year before, which is great. But like it really kind of like created like how to do like a modern day like crime caper, and whether you think that this is the best one of those or not, it certainly is like the kind of the foundation for every one that has come at least since 2001.
Yeah. I mean, there's some serious plot holes for sure, right? I mean, I don't think that this is a real possibility that 11 people could pull off a heist like this, no matter how talented and brilliant they are. But
Well,
so if you
in 2001, I think we had a different lens to look through it. Now that we live in the all online everything happening all the time, like it's harder to like watch this and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. In
that
2001,
makes sense.
I think it was a little bit more palatable, some of the.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But it's just so well put together. This story is, I mean, I watch this movie probably 4 or 5 times a year. Which is not that's a big saying because I spend my life watching a lot of other types of movies, right? Um,
Mhm.
I really love it. I think Steven Soderbergh he really understands how to shoot dialogue. Some of the shots are really pretty. The fact that we're in like 7 or 8 different cities over the course of this film while they're trying to pick up these different characters and bring them into the fold of this heist is really cool. The grittiness, like they're in Chicago and they're on that L train.
Mhm.
And the way that that is shot, it looks completely different. Like it's got to be a different camera because it's grittier looking. I mean, I don't know, right? Steven Soderbergh's amazing. Whoever the cinematographer is amazing. But the way that that is shot is completely different than when they're doing Lehman Zerga's character as he's like running through the floor, and that's like super slick and like super crystal clear. And I
Mhm.
don't know, I just think that some of those decisions are really cool. The fact that it kind of the way that it unfolds in front of the audience and what you think you're seeing is not really what you're seeing at all. And it all comes to like full circle at the end. The fact that it is kind of an open ending. I mean, some of these decisions that were made to do this is the reason why most people prefer. I mean, everybody I've ever talked to, except maybe you, Brian, prefer this Ocean's 11 to the original, which is saying a lot
Mhm.
because the Rat Pack was huge. I mean, everybody loved them. So I don't know. I think that this is if you are into heist movies at all, and you've watched any of them in the last 25 years, they're probably tipping their hat or getting some sort of cue from this version of Ocean's 11 because it is
Mhm.
really just slick and just really well put together, this film.
Yeah. Oh, this is undoubtedly better than the original, the 1960s version, which came out, which I think is based on a book. I believe is how that kind of first
Mm.
came together. But yeah, it spawned all of these things, which is good. I remember this being a big deal when it came out. And yeah, I watched it a bunch of times. You know, this came out in 2001, so that was like college when we had plenty of time to watch movies a lot. So yeah, I ended up watching this one quite a bit. I remember there was a very big like resurgence of like Elvis Presley because I had like that remix of A Little Less
Yeah.
Conversation in it. That song like blew up there for it was on like the top charts for a while, which is weird to have this Elvis Presley song there. And then yeah, it spawned the other stuff. I saw Ocean's 12 um once, I think. It came out in 2004. Fun side note is that we went to Las Vegas in 2004. That's when I got engaged on a separate side note, but we were walking through the Bellagio and most of the casino floor was cordoned off because they were filming it at the time we
Oh,
were in Vegas. So we
wow.
walked through there. I mean, we didn't, see any filming. It was like, during the evening, I'm sure they were filming all that stuff at probably like 2, 3, 4 in the morning when it was a lot
Mm.
quieter in there to do that. But yeah, a lot of the casino floor was blocked off there. So that I never saw Ocean's 13. I never saw Ocean's 8. So yeah, I saw this one like you, I don't watch it 4 times a year, but I probably have seen this movie now 10 times and Ocean's 12 once, and then that was kind of it for me there. But yeah, and this movie was monumental and influential, and like the cast of characters. I mean, we've had other things obviously before this and after this that had, just this giant ensemble, star-studded cast of characters, but like all of these people were like well, a lot of them are still at their peak popularity, but like they were like firing like the top of their game, like all of these people that were in this film.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so cool to see that big of a cast come together because I mean all of these they all work so well. I mean, I don't think any of them were miscast. And it's interesting because now we have an Oscar that we can give for best casting, right?
Mhm.
The casting director for this film deserves some sort of honorary award for me in my mind because everybody was so meticulously chosen. Um, and some of them had worked with Steve Soderbergh before, like Julie Roberts and so on. But I mean, I just can't imagine the cast being different and having it be as good at all.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty monumental in that sense, and yeah, absolutely. It kind of rounded out like this trilogy of films that Soderbergh did, and of course he's still going on to do stuff. We saw the Black Bag, which came out last year, which had a lot of the fingerprints of Ocean's 11 on it for sure. So I think that's it for Ocean's 11. It's a really fun ride. Like I said, we didn't really get into the actual crime itself because that would have been hard to say and make any sense and sound very good at all. But it makes sense. The way it's laid out is pretty flawless in the execution of how it's done, where you're kind of always left wondering a little bit how this is happening, but you're never like confused about how it's happening. So pretty magical stuff. So yeah, that is it for Ocean's 11. So let us know what you think of Ocean's 11. Let us know if you saw Ocean's 12 or 13 or Ocean's 8. Which one is the best? It's this one, of course. And let us know if you mix up a We Got Our Grease Man. Good name, still pending on that one for that, but it's a really good cocktail. So definitely go ahead and mix one of those up if you do, or you go see Ocean's 11. Maybe it's showing it like a independent like theater near you here for its birthday. Let us know that stuff. Let us know if you had any good cocktails for it, all that stuff. You can do that on our social media. It's at Drink the Movies on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Facebook.com/Drink the Movies. If you want to see pictures of the cocktails that we're making, recipes, episode recaps, links to all the stuff that can be found on our website, www.drinkthemovies.com. Go there. One of those links is going to direct you to Patreon. That's the best place to support the podcast. You get bonus episodes, bonus content, hangouts, chats, cocktail chats, all sorts of stuff. Patreon.com/drink the movies. And we appreciate our patrons so much. Michaela, summer is rolling. New releases are rolling. We're rolling. We're high rollers, uh, just like the Ocean's 11 crew here.
That's right.
Maybe not. You can't ever go back to Vegas now, so I guess all the sequels are ruined as well. I don't understand how that works either. But anyways, where can people follow along with us? We can go to Vegas. Maybe we'll do that. We'll take
Maybe
everyone
we'll
along
do
with us.
that.
What do we do? What are we doing?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, anywhere where Spotify podcasts are just supported and distributed. They're playing in Vegas. I guarantee there's a rectangle in your hand that whether you're in Vegas or in
Shout out
anywhere, all
Nevada.
over the no, shout out Nevada. Um, There's a button you can press. It's a subscribe button, a subscribe button. There's also a button that you could press to leave a review. If you leave a review, that'd be super cool. Because it helps us get all the Drink the Movie stuff out there. For any of you video game fans, you should go check out Drink the Video Games because it's amazing. Brian does a great job talking about all sorts of different types of video games. I pop in to talk about a cocktail and how I've never played any of those video games. It is a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Thank you for that shout. New episode this just yesterday, I think, as of this release of this Masters of the Universe
Yay!
scheduled to anyways. So if you don't see it there, oops, my bad, but it should be out there. So yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. We appreciate it. Happy birthday, Danny Ocean and your 10 pals, Casino Robin pals. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time on
Drink
Drink
the
the
movies.
Movies. Michaela's pondering what quote she wants to give everyone right now.
I do. There's so many. When he's like, except for that moment when you bet big and you take the house. He's like, that was good. That was a good speech. He's like, I felt that like I rushed it. Did I rush it? Yeah. The banter is just amazing. I could quote the whole film. It's so good.
Pretty good.